Hello, this is Sonia Schreier-Norris, Program Manager for Ploud at the Library of Michigan. Thank you for joining me for a short Ploud-specific tutorial on best practices around graphic design. I should say before I start that I am not a graphic designer. I am not a natural with colors or texture or layout. But what I've come to understand is that you don't have to be in order to make a website look good. I've worked on a lot of websites. There are many factors that go into the end product. There are factors completely within your control in Ploud that, with a little attention, will improve the look of your site. There are rules around graphic design that, if followed, will result in a pleasing aesthetic. You don't have to be a designer to have a good-looking website. I'm going to talk about 4 specific areas that will improve the look of any Ploud site. But first, all good days include story time, so I'm going to begin with a lesson that I learned in my own life around my 1959 pink bathroom. My husband and I bought a 1959 mid-century modern ranch home in 2007 that had a screaming Mamie Dowd Eisenhower pink bathroom. Wainscoted pink tile, a pink toilet, pink roses on the ivory wallpaper, and I flat out did not know what to do with all that pink. I bought ivory window and shower curtains because they matched the wallpaper, but they just faded in. I knew they didn't look good, but I didn't know what to do about that. In my mind, the only thing that could be expected of me was to match the walls, and when that didn't work, I was at a loss. Our blue towels were still in pretty good shape, and I wasn't prepared to replace them, so up they went. I had a little chest from our last apartment that I painted Pepto-Bismol pink, thinking, well, it's pink, it should match. Guests would occasionally comment on our very pink bathroom, and some of them really liked the inherent pinkness of it all, but the fact was that it wasn't decorated at all. Then one day I heard someone say, yet again, that Google knew everything. As a librarian, I knew that wasn't true, and I have a mulish tendency to push back against the genuinely great things that Google can do for us. I decided to prove how right I was by testing Google on design theory and interior decorating. As it turns out, Google knows a lot about design theory. Then my sister-in-law asked me if I was on Pinterest, and I said no, but she encouraged me to get an account. After I realized I could get some pretty great recipes on Pinterest, I also realized I could exponentially accelerate my learning on interior design. It took a while to get there, but finally the search term mid-century modern pink bathroom changed my entire concept of what my pink bathroom could be. First, I made a conscious decision to embrace the inherent pinkness that was our bathroom. I went all in. Anything that didn't support the pink was going to be given away. Everything we added to the room had to enhance the pink. First stop, accent colors. To sell my husband on the redecorating, I put a little salesmanship into my new colors. Honey, I told him, I think we should accent the bathroom in cranberry. He loved the idea. I learned from Google about the 60-30-10 color rule. Those are the recommended proportions of different colors in a room. 60% was the pink tile, 30% was the cranberry towels and trim, and 10% was black. I didn't believe it at first, but Google told me that if I used black as my 10% color, it would make the rest of the room pop. And they were right. We also bought mid-century modern door handles, shelving, and hooks. We topped it off with a series of black-on-white quotes from authors like Oscar Wilde and J.K. Rowling, and people like Coco Chanel and cranberry frames. This quote pretty much sums up my experience with my bathroom. The best things in life are free. The second best are very expensive. It was very empowering to learn that I was capable of redecorating something. So, in short, good design is learnable even if it's not in your nature. I'm going to go over 4 Ploud-specific graphic design issues that take into account what we have control over and what we can do in this environment to improve the look of our sites. This video is not a substitute for a degree in web design, and as I said, I don't pretend to be a designer. But just like with my bathroom, I've learned some things I can do to make a Ploud site look good and that's what I'm going to share with you. First, don't fight your theme. In Ploud, you currently have a choice of 4 themes, and within each theme, a selection of color palettes. Don't fight your theme, and don't fight your palette. If you don't like the theme or palette you're using, pick a different one. The Ploud themes operate on many guidelines around accessibility, color, typography, and layout. Work with them to get the best results. I'm going to review areas that you absolutely have control over in your Ploud environment. Attention to the details of these 4 areas will get you positive results. If you want to see what other libraries are doing to get some ideas, I recommend going to michlibrary.org and viewing the list of Michigan sites. I have a top picked list on the page that will help narrow it down to libraries that are doing a particularly good job. The Buchanan District Library is clean and simple. They use great colors on their homepage and one of the simpler themes. It makes incorporating other images, such as the Wandoo Reader logo, easy because there is less to conflict with. Cadillac Wexford Public Library does a great job of incorporating orange into their homemade graphics that pops on the gray of their template. They use it consistently and they use it right, and that didn't cost anything. Mid-Michigan Library League chose a wonderful banner image that, along with the blue color palette, is a very strong working example of the Hemingway theme. About a quarter of all Michigan sites use this theme, the latest to be added to the system. Let's talk about some more specifics. The portlets are a balancing act. Those are the boxes on the right and left of every page. Ideally, you want everything in your portlets to be the same width. That alone will improve how your pages look. 300 pixels is the size of a portlet, such as the location and hours. When you go to add other images to your portlets, such as logos, it's important to remember that you shouldn't grab the corner of an image to make it bigger or smaller. That messes with how your site displays on a phone or tablet. Resize your image outside of Ploud. Also, in a perfect world, you want all of your pages to end at approximately the same place on the right, left, and center, so work with the length of items in your portlets. If you need a hand with that, see the video in this series on managing portlets. Color is very important, and there are a couple of rules around using color on the web. For one thing, you don't want to use more than a few colors at a time. Ploud handles that for you in most palettes. Don't overload your pages with additional other colors, particularly in the realm of images, logos, or font colors. If you have a choice when adding things to your site, stick with colors that complement your scheme. Remember how Cadillac Wexford picked up the orange and reused it? Do the same. Use and reuse the colors in your scheme in the images that you bring in. You don't always have a choice, such as with a vendor logo. But if you are intentional about what you consider when seeking out new images for your site and choosing images that match your color palette consistently, your site will look better put together. If you'd like to get a little fancier, there's lots of information freely available on Google about how to combine colors on the web. But the fact of the matter is that with Ploud, once you've chosen a palette, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. This gets us back to not fighting your website. Work with it, not against it. And if you don't like your colors, spend some time exploring the different themes and palettes. There is a great help desk article about how to work with images in the 2 themes that have banner images, Slate and Hemingway. If you don't like how your site looks now, improving your banner image and logo can go a long way to making you happier with your site. At michlibrary.org, there are a variety of solid resources for finding quality rights-free images that you can use on your site. A banner area that reflects your library's personality, from simple and direct to dramatic and beautiful, can help you feel more connected to your site. And if you don't have money to hire a graphic designer for a new library logo, you can get a good enough for now logo to use on your website for very little money. I recommend 2 sites at michlibrary.org, Icon Finder and Graphic River. Ask yourself, what's the first impression I want to convey about my library to my users? Take a moment and write down the most important things about your library. Do you have an iconic building or location or nearby natural resource that you can draw from? Do you already have solid branding with a logo that you can play off of with other aspects of your Ploud site, such as color or the shape of additional images? Do you want to convey a feeling or emotion, such as friendliness or quality service? Once you've thought these things through, keep your notes handy as you search for images to use on your site to support those ideas, and be intentional about choosing a banner image and logo. A couple of other things. You don't want to overwhelm your visitors by trying to crowd everything above the fold, or with pages that are too long. Use whitespace and multiple pages logically broken up by content area. Another important thing to remember, and to consider changing if you're doing it now, is around the use of clip art as dividing lines between content areas. If you find yourself doing that, it's a good idea to change to headers or break up your content on multiple pages. Here's a made-up example of that kind of use of clip art as a dividing line. It's outdated, and it's also not good practice for accessibility, and I encourage you not to do it. On the next slide is another way to display the same information. This looks a lot nicer. It is completely doable within Ploud, even though this particular page was created in Photoshop, and I encourage you to view the video that will be out later in this series on collections to learn how to create this. If you'd like some inspiration, check out the video called Doing It Right in Michigan under videos at michlibrary.org for a tour of Michigan Ploud sites that are succeeding with carousels, portlets, responsive design, unique features, cover pages, footers, displaying well on the web, and strong navigation. That concludes this video on graphic design for Ploud. I hope you've discovered some takeaways that you can apply to your own site. This project was made possible in part by the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Have a great day.